Hello, it is 9 p.m. at this time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have a meteorological spectacle between surprise and relief. Many forest areas will be closed in France. Welcome to our newsroom. As part of his campaign for elections to the post of chairman of the African Union Commission, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, is actively pursuing his continental tour. On Tuesday, August 20, 2024, he paid a visit to Kampala, the capital of Uganda, where he was received by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda. During the meeting, after a customary greetings, Minister Mahmoud Ali Yusuf delivered a special message from the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Gelle, to his Ugandan counterpart. He also conveyed the warm greetings of his Djiboutian counterpart and congratulated President Museveni on Uganda's elections as the seat of the African Humanitarian Agency, as well as on Uganda's leading role in the African Union Peace and Security Council, particularly following its brilliant re-elections in February 2024, aware of the challenges posed by regional competitions for this post. The minister, with the invaluable support of President Gelle, continues to make sustained effort to secure the support of all African nations, including those who are also presenting candidates. He took the opportunity to salute the important role played by President Museveni as an influential leader on the African scene, particularly in the continent's stabilization and development initiatives. He expressed his wish to work closely with the Ugandan president should he succeed in the elections, to promote the necessary reforms within the African Union and strengthen regional cooperation. The meeting took place in an atmosphere of cordiality, testifying to the long traditions of friendship and cooperation between Uganda and Djibouti. Minister Mahmoud Ali Yusuf was accompanied on this important visit by His Excellency Abdi Mahmoud Abe, Ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti to Ethiopia and permanent representative to the African Union. Beyond by the invaluable support of President Gelle, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf continues to approach each stage of this campaign with hope and commitment, with the aim of rallying a broad consensus around his candidacy for the presidency of the African Union Commission. For the past few days, Djibouti has been waking up to capricious skies, offering its inhabitants an unprecedented meteorological spectacle across the country. Rain has made its presence felt, sometimes vigorously, sometimes with an almost soothing gentleness. This return of precipitation after a season often marked by sweltering heat was greeted with a degree of gratitude by the entire population, who saw the showers as a sign of respite for their arid land. The showers, though sometimes torrential, caused no major damages. On the contrary, they brought a welcome coolness, momentarily transforming the landscape. The usually dusty streets have since been clothed in a wet carpet. In the green areas through the territories, thirsty eagerly drank in this manna from heaven. Temperature, usually relentless at these times of year, have dropped significantly, offering a mild, clement climate conducive to relaxations and rejuvenations. It's worth remembering that this unexpected weather also seems to have influenced the general mood in the capital's neighborhood and more remote regions alike. Residents are taking advantage of this climatic respite to reconnect with the nature. Children, often forced to take refuge in the shade during the hottest hours of the day, are rediscovering the pleasures of playing in the rains, while adults are savoring the suspended times for socializing. Meteorological experts, while welcoming these immediate benefits, remain vigilant. They remind us that this rainy episode, also beneficial, must be closely monitored to prevent any risks of flooding in the most vulnerable areas. For some times now, the country's capital has been experiencing serious traffic problems due to the repair work on one of its key roads, sections of the route of the road of Siesta, not far from Damal Center, closed the update the sewage networks. The partial closure of this strategic route led to huge traffic jams at rush hours. Stretched for miles, leaving motorists and public transport users totally paralyzed. The roadworks were initially scheduled to last just 10 days. Unfortunately, unforeseen weather-related complications meant that the work that had to be extended in an attempt to ease traffic congestion. The police have stepped up their presence at the main crossroad and urban roads during rush hour. The local authorities are therefore appealing to Djiboutians for patience. They are also doing their utmost to complete the work as quickly as possible and restore traffic flow in the capital. The Bandar Jadid was the venue this morning for the continuations of the symposium on support for Djibouti associations working in the file of sustainable development in their commitment to sectoral public policies. The symposium was attended by members of the over 60 associations, government officials, and university students. The second day of the workshop was devoted to group work, which focused on analyzing the experiences presented and in identifying the skills used at each stage of the process. The aim of the program is to place civil society in its role as an extension of the actions of public authorities. This project heralds a turning point in the role that civil society must play in the design and implementations of sustainable development objectives in synergy with the sectoral department. The president of the NGO, Eva Ahmed Ali Mohammed, emphasized that civil society has a role and a responsibility in the design and elaborations of sustainable development projects. As part of the government's ambitions to rural electrification policy, the locality of Asamo has just taken a major step towards improved access to energy for its inhabitants. Thanks to a substantial investment by the state, the commune has been equipped with more than 480 high-quality photovoltaic solar panels. These solar installations with the capacity of 150 kilowatt peak will supply electricity to over 75 households or more than 600 people. For local residents, this is a real revolution for our village, as they now have access to lighting, fans, and electrical outlet in their homes. This will greatly improve our comfort and quality of life. In fact, every household has benefited from a complete electrical installations, including all the necessary equipment, free of charge. A gesture appreciated by the local population who previously had little or no access to electricity. The aim of this project is twofold. Firstly, to enable the inhabitants of Asamo to enjoy the benefits of electricity, and secondly, to contribute to the sustainable development of the region through renewable energies. This major step forward is part of the government-determined policy to reduce inequality in access to electricity between urban and rural areas, and major challenges, but one that seems to be well on the way to being met, judging by Asamo's successful example. For the international scene, 4 Palestinians killed and others injured in Israeli shelling targeting tents of displaced people in southern Gaza Strip. Medical sources reported to Anadolu agency corresponded that 4 Palestinians were killed and several others were injured in an Israeli shelling that targeted tents of displaced people in the town of Asda, northwest of the cities of Khan Yunis. On Sunday, the Israeli army expanded its incursions into the Khan Yunis, reaching the Hamad city west of the city, which is hundreds of meters from the areas it claims to be classified as a safe humanitarian. According to the 8 witnesses, according to the same sources, Israeli military vehicles occasionally target with the machine gun and artillery fires the tents of displaced people in the town of Asda, close to the new incursion points. Thus, the Israeli army forces are only a few hundred meters from the zone they claim to be humanitarian in the Al-Mawasi area, which is home to approximately 1.7 million displaced Palestinians, according to the previous statement by the government press services. With the support of Washington, Israel has been waging a devastating war on Gaza since October 7, leaving more than 133,000 Palestinians dead and wounded, most of them children and women, and more than 10,000 missing, in a context of massive destructions and deadly famine. And pro-Palestinian protesters marched on Michigan Avenue in Chicago. Hundreds of protesters marched on Michigan Avenue in Chicago on Sunday, urging Vice President Kamala Harris and Democratic Party to end the conflict in the Gaza Strip and improve access to reproductive health care. The first major protest began Sunday night near Trump Tower at the intersections of Michigan Avenue and Waker Drive. WTTW reported protesters marched south along Michigan Avenue and headed to Grand Park, a historic site where a protest against the Vietnam War ended in a brutal police crackdown in 1968. Colorado's Kathy Murray traveled to Chicago to voice her support for Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris' campaign for federal protections to ensure access to abortions nationwide. The U.S. Supreme Court overturned that decision in 2022. Other protesters at the rally said they wanted Harris to take strong actions to protect the Palestinian people in Gaza. The mpox is not the new COVID. Our World Health Organization's officials stressed on Tuesday that mpox, whether the new or old strains, is not comparable to COVID-19 because authorities know how to control its spread. We can and must fight mpox together. Hans Kluge, WHO regional director for Europe, told a press briefing at the UN he called for global actions to control and eliminate mpox or risk entering a new cycle of panics and neglect. Kluge said that the current response will be a critical test for Europe and the world. Mpox, a viral infection that causes post-filled lesions and flu-like symptoms, is usually mild but can be fatal. The clade 1b variant has sparked the global concern due to its apparent ability, and in Sweden last week linked to a growing outbreak in Africa, marking its first spread outside the continent. The WHO declared the recent outbreak a public health emergency and international concern after the new variant was identified. And in France, the risk of fires, many forest areas will be closed on Wednesday. A large number of forest areas will be closed to access this Wednesday, August 21, due to high risks of fires in the department of Bouches-du-Rhône, Var, Vaucluse, Gard, and Hérol, where a forest fire ravaged 315 hectares this weekend. These measures announced this Tuesday by the prefectures of this department. They were decided in light of the weather conditions, in particular a strong mistral expected in the Rhône Valley, which could blow at over 60 km by hour in Hérault. 4 areas will be completely closed to access, and 3 other areas strongly discouraged. In the Gard, 2 mountain ranges are placed at very severe risks, red, with access completely prohibited, and 3 other areas at moderate risks, yellow, with the access and activity regulated. And to close up this edition, several flights canceled at Madeira Airport, dozens of flights canceled, and hundreds of tourists stranded, including many French people who are ending their holidays in the middle of a nightmare for 5 days. Madeira Cristiano Ronaldo International Airport has been in the news due to the violent gust of wind sweeping its runway, some reaching speeds of up to 70 km per hour. From Santa Catarina Airport, renamed in 2017 in homage of the footballer from the region, is located between the Atlantic Oceans and the mountains in the town of Santa Cruz. It has been considered one of the most dangerous in the world since it was put into the services in 1964. In the following decades, it was the scene of several tragic accidents. And this is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.